Hey, everybody. Welcome to my brothers and sisters and cousins and friends. I am Sandra Drew of Aquarius School for Kids, an oasis of early learning with the African child in mind. I am here to help you learn how to teach your child how to read. Now, for the last few videos, we have been discussing the 5 components of literacy. Do you remember what those components are? Okay, let's see. There's phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. Great. Now, we've already spoken about phonemic awareness and phonics. Now, let me review the definition. Phonemic awareness is the ability to identify, manipulate, and listen to phonemes, which are the smallest units of sound that make up words. So, phonemic awareness has to do with sound, okay? With manipulation of sound. Now, phonics, on the other hand, is a method for teaching children to read and write by teaching the relationships between sounds in spoken language and the letters or groups of letters in written language. So when we think phonics, let's think of the symbol, the letters in relationship to sound. The letters are representing sound. The letters are symbols that represent sound. Well, today we're going to go to our third component of literacy, and that third component is vocabulary. And let's start off with the definition of vocabulary, which is pretty simple. The definition of vocabulary is the body of words used in a particular language. So all the words we're using in the language that we speak, in this case, we're speaking English, that body of words is vocabulary. Now, this is a very, very important component of your child learning how to read, okay? And I am going to tell you why. So your vocabulary impacts your ability to understand the meaning of text. So imagine you're reading to your child, or even if you're speaking, if they don't understand the vocabulary, the words that you're talking about, the words that you're using, they're going to lose the comprehension. So it's very important that we focus on vocabulary when teaching our children how to read. Then having a good vocabulary also helps you to decode words. Now, what do I mean by that? Suppose your child is reading, or you're reading for a matter of fact, and you come upon a word that you don't yet know. But because you have a good vocabulary and you are understanding the text, or you know the context in which you are reading, you can kind of decipher what the word is. For example, suppose you knew the vocabulary word laboratory, and your child is reading about a scientist, a scientist, and in it says the scientist worked in the laboratory. And they found out the first part lab, but they know the word laboratory, so they can figure out it's laboratory, okay? So having a vocabulary will help you in decoding words. It also allows for faster fluency when reading, and it develops your language development, your ability to communicate and to read. And then your critical thinking, it develops your critical thinking because you have a vocabulary to use. Just imagine how frustrating it is if you don't have a word that expresses what you're trying to say. It's kind of similar to learning another language. Like, I speak a second language, pretty okay. I can communicate in another language, but sometimes there are words that I just don't know. I know it in English, of course, and it's not even on the tip of my tongue. I don't even know the word, and it is so frustrating, okay? So having a vocabulary just really reduces that frustration when trying to communicate, when trying to write, and when trying to speak. Now, there are ways that you can help your child develop vocabulary. One way is you can read aloud regularly to your child. Read aloud. Books, it can be a short book, it can be a longer book. Take some time, maybe 5-10 minutes a day, and read a story to your child. That helps develop vocabulary. Also, what helps develop vocabulary is discussing words that are in the story that they may not understand, and you just give meaning to it. Or even words that you say, your big vocabulary. Don't be afraid to use your big vocabulary with your child. To them, it's just a word. It's just a word. I've seen online, there's this little girl. Her parents the father's a doctor and the mother is an attorney. And when they speak to her, they use the terms that they use in their profession. The child doesn't know that these are big words. They just know it's just words that their parents use. So the parents are sharing their vocabulary with their child. And she's about 4 or 5 years old. So you can do that too. Another thing you can do to develop vocabulary is to use a visual aid. You might have a picture of whatever it is that you're talking about so that it can be sticky, it can solidify in the child's mind what that word means. And like I said before, use your big vocabulary and discuss those words while reading or while you're showing your child something, you're just speaking to your child, just discuss the meaning of those words. Okay, so we have gone over our third component of reading, which is vocabulary. So keep that in mind, keep that in your toolbox as you go about teaching your child how to read. Now, when you have a moment, I would like for you to go to www.Aquarius School for Kids and check out the resources that we have available for our early learners that you can use in helping teach your child how to read. Also, if you find this channel to be very valuable to you, please hit the like button, also share, also comment, and also subscribe to the channel. If you happen to be viewing this on Instagram, go ahead and follow my channel. That way, we can increase the viewership and it can go out to many more people, and I can help more of us learn how to teach our children how to read. Well, that's all that I have for right now. I look forward to speaking to you in our next video where we can talk about our next component of literacy. All right, take care and bye-bye.